like whited sepulchres, all clean and fair without, but within, full of dead men's bones and all corruption. You see these stones, do you not? I tell you, there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down. Yours is a house of desolation, the home of the lizard and the spider. Serpents, brood of vipers, how can any of you escape damnation? You shall not see me here again, not until you learn to cry, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." For I and my Father are one and the same.
Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1 and 2 of the King James Version says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless." The contemporary English version of Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1 to 4 says, "You people are in trouble. You have made cruel and unfair laws that let you cheat the poor and needy and rob widows and orphans." I am Butch Velica. My topic today is unrighteous laws. Now, the interpretation of Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1 and 2 says, "The word of the Lord begins with a declaration of woe, an interjection that expresses pain. In prophecy, it is a warning of impending judgment. Woe expresses God's extreme dissatisfaction with those rulers being addressed and announces his intention to punish them. The magistrates or rulers of Israel are put on notice that their conduct in office has elicited the wrath of God. Why? What is it that they have done? First, they have abused the power of their office by writing laws that bring hardship, trouble, and vexation to the people. They decree unrighteous decree, cruel and unfair laws. Now, the verb decree refers to the action of enacting civil laws and statutes or policies. And these are sins of Israel as a nation of royal priesthood, an example for other nations. The prophet singles out 4 specific sins for reproof. Number 1, national pride and arrogance. Number 2, corrupt leaders in God-ordained institutions who have led the people astray. Number 3, civil strife and cruelty. And number 4, civil and religious magistrates or rulers who oppress the people through unrighteous legislation, cruel and unfair laws. Now, the word unrighteous in Hebrew is a general term for evil in the Old Testament, awen, often translated iniquity. Interestingly, this word awen from the same Hebrew root word for power consequently highlights the abuse of power and the harm this brings often. Now, the use of awen in context, such as Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1, refer to the misconduct and abuse of power, political and religious power. Ezekiel chapter 11 verse 2 says, "Then said he unto me, Son of man, these are the men that devise mischief and give wicked counsel in this city." Micah chapter 2 verse 1 says, "Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. Awen, or unrighteous. In Psalms 94, it is, you will pay back my enemies, and you will wipe them out for the evil they did. Awen, evil they did. Isaiah chapter 1 verse 2, yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, against the help of them that work iniquity. Awen. Isaiah chapter 59 verse 4, none calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief, awen, and bring forth iniquity, awen. These magistrates also write grievousness. Now, grievousness is amal in Hebrew. It means that they put laws into writing that are grievous to the people. The Hebrew word amal often refers to the results of evil act, meaning the trouble, sorrow, and pain that these lawless acts cause. The Hebrew word amal is translated grievousness in Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1 and mischief in Psalms 94 verse 20. Thus Isaiah and the psalmist are speaking the same kind of rulers, men who abuse their power by enacting laws or policies that bring grief and misery to the people, like pork barrel system, special interest groups, and patronage laws. Now, the New Testament definition in Greek of this kind of sins is more descriptive. In Matthew chapter 7 verse 21 says, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? And through your name throw out demons, and through your name many wonderful works? And then I will say to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, those working lawlessness. In the King James Version it says, ye that work iniquity. Iniquity in Greek is anomia, without law, not subject to law, violating law, lawless. Nomos means law, and a sinner is one who disregards God's law. Iniquity, anomia. This word stresses the deliberation of sin and describes the man who well knows the right and yet thus the wrong. Transgression in Greek is parabasis, a stepping aside, deviation, violation of law. Galatians chapter 3 verse 19 says, why then the law? It was added because of transgressions, until the seed, which is Jesus, should come to those to whom it had been promised, being ordained. This because of transgression, or parabasis in Greek, literally means stepping across. The picture is of a man invading forbidden territory and crossing the bounds of that which is right. This is the scene of deliberately crossing the fence between right and wrong. Unrighteousness in Greek is adikia, injustice, wrong, iniquity, falsehood, deceitfulness. In 1 John chapter 5 verse 17, all unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. All unrighteousness is sin. Unrighteousness is the failure to give God, or to give to God and to man what is their due. The unrighteous man fails to give God his love and obedience, and fails to give man his charity and his service. ungodliness, asebeia, impiety, improbity, dishonest acts of wickedness. Romans chapter 1 verse 18 says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of man, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness." Ungodliness, asebeia, knows that there is a God and totally disregards Him. It is treating God as if He does not exist. It is not atheism, for atheism does not believe that there is a God. It's godlessness. God is opposed to dishonest lawmakers. In Psalm 94 verse 20, the government of wicked rulers is called a throne of iniquity, because such administration frameth mischief by law. Psalms 94 verse 20, King James Version says, "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frames mischief by a law?" Psalms 94:20 in the Contemporary English Version says, "But you are opposed," meaning God is opposed, "to these honest lawmakers." Second, these magistrates do not uphold the legal rights of the citizens. They turn aside the needy from judgment, meaning they deviate from the path of duty assigned by God to act impartially and strive for justice, meaning selective justice. The term judgment indicates a person's legal rights and the justice due unto them. God charges rulers to defend the poor and the weak. The weak signifies those who do not have the means to properly defend themselves or to curry favor from corrupt judges. Because of the vulnerable position of the poor, God charges magistrates, rulers to defend their rights. Third, the rulers of Israel were using their office to plunder the people they governed. Isaiah says that widows are their prey, biktima nila, that they rob the fatherless. Prey refers to spoil and plunder, the booty of war, while the verb rob points to the action of gathering the spoils of war. These magistrates were at war with their own people. They were like an invading army that plunders its defeated foe. God is always concerned with widows and orphans. The weak personified in the widow and orphan are the object of their crimes. In the verses directly following the indictment of these rulers, their sure judgment is foretold in Isaiah chapter 10 verse 3 and 4. God's wrath will bring about their destruction. Thus, they face both temporal and eternal judgment.